Buenos y Tupedas, today on Duke by the River. Should the World Cup be hosted in Philadelphia in 2026 as one of the host cities? Your boys give you their thoughts on that. We're going to look back at last Sunday's matchup against Orlando City, some afternoon football, and as well, we're going to look ahead at this upcoming Saturday afternoon as the Philadelphia host Atlanta United. And don't you dare go anywhere, guys, because you do not want to miss this episode of Duke by the River. Let's get it started, guys. Dale! And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to Duke by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It has been another week of Union soccer, and that means we have stuff to talk about. And we're not going to waste any time here. I want to introduce to you guys my fellow experts in duping. Ladies and gentlemen, first up, please welcome my man, Zach Lobasso. What's up, Zach?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Not much, man. I'm excited to talk some Union soccer because we got an important match here this upcoming weekend against a team that is getting under our nerves, man. So I'm hoping you're ready.
always.
You know who I know who is ready. That is our other expert in duping. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Justin, Mr. Worldwide Body Double Freiberg. Justin, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm just excited to talk about a pretty good result and talk about my the team that, God, it's just so easy to get under their fans' skin. So I'm actually, I can talk about that. That can describe both teams. So we've played. So I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I think besides the New York Giants, I've never met an American sports fan base that is more triggered than Atlanta United. So we'll have fun with it. We always have fun here on Duke by the River. Why else would you listen to the show? Before we dive into what we got to talk about here today, ladies and gentlemen, please do not forget, if you're watching this live, we're back on PSN. If you're watching this live on Philly Sports Network or on El Parcero Philly's YouTube channel, do us that solid and hitting that like button on that live and subscribe to both if you haven't. Cannot wait for some more. Shouts to Liam with that Fletcher Cox interview. Absolutely beautiful content. Shouts to our boss man, Liam. Great job on there. So make sure you guys are subscribed there. And, of course, you can find Duke by the River along with all of your favorite Philly Sports Network podcasts on PSN Radio. You can find that wherever you stream podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. All right, boys. All right, let's get to it, guys. So I want to start off today with the events that took place yesterday in South Philly at Lincoln Financial Field. Philadelphia made their case of why Philadelphia should be one of the host cities for the 2026 World Cup. Now, I'm just going to start off and saying real quick, if you are a Philadelphian, if you're proud of being from Philadelphia, in the area in general, you want this tournament to come to this city. It is the biggest event in sports. It's every 4 years. It brings people from all over the world. A billion and a trillion eyes are watching this. So why would you not want your city to be under the light of the entire planet? So to me, we need to get this. It's definitely going to be tough. There are 14 cities, 10 slots. You can make a case for all 14 of these cities to be a host city of the World Cup. But when you're talking about the Northeast, Lincoln Financial Field, although I think it's a generic football field, it is still a fantastic outing for a sporting event, and just the diversity in the city, it being such a passionate city, sports clearly thrives here. It needs to happen here. So I'll start it off with my man Justin. Justin, your thoughts on our application, I guess you could say, for being one of the host cities of the 2026 World Cup, man.
I think there really should be no question why Philadelphia is on. It should be high on the list for East Coast cities. Number one, the ease of access to some of the other potential cities. We're 2 hours from North Jersey, about another two and a half hours to DC. So it's a pretty good hub. You also got pretty damn good logistics of a pretty big airport near the city. transportation in and out of the city, decent amount of lodging in and out of the city. And oh, by the way, I think they've hosted some pretty big events in the city, and it's gone pretty well. And also, it just so happens to be the 250th anniversary of the country's founding in 2026. If you're FIFA, if you're the U.S. bid, why would you not try to capitalize on that kind of historical significance and put it in the nation's original capital? Like, even looking past the where's the Philly guy is going to say it should be in Philly, but on the East Coast, like, it just makes the most sense because people say, "Oh, what about Boston?" Well, first off, Foxborough is 45 minutes from the city, and I'll tell you, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's not a whole lot going out there. It's a pain in the butt to get out there. And is Robert Kraft really going to put new grass on the field? I'm thinking not.
And there's no way Fenway gets turned into a soccer pitch.
Oh yeah,
Shouts
no.
out RCFC.
Hell no. That I think even FIFA would go. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, what is this? What is this malarkey? What is this bullshit? But listen, Philly on the East Coast just makes too much sense to pass up. And even as corrupt and inept as FIFA has been and continues to be, at least mostly inept, I really think you'd have a hard time, finding very good reasons why you would pick DC over Philly or Atlanta over Philly or Orlando or Miami or even Florida over. Like, I get trying to maximize certain areas, but when it comes to the Atlantic Atlantic area in the Northeast, I mean, Philly is one of the the best cities for a lot of reasons that FIFA seems to look for, and infrastructure and logistics are pretty high on their list. And last time I checked, there's easy trains getting in and out of the city. There's buses around the city. It's easy to drive in and out of the city. Because the stadium's also right off the bridge. So It's not like it's going to be a very hard thing to get in and out. Overall, I just think FIFA would be insanely dumb to overlook Philadelphia as a potential city for hosting at least some group stage games.
So the one thing I think that will hinder is, like you mentioned, look, I mean, MetLife and Lincoln Financial are not far away from each other whatsoever. And I'm sure if Philly and New York get that bid, the state of New Jersey, that hotel business is going to be booming in the summer 2026. But to your point with Boston, Foxborough is not conducive to hosting the World Cup, especially when Boston's that far away from Foxborough. And DC, I mean, I think we saw what happened week 1 against the football team and the Chargers, the LA Chargers. Dude, that stadium is falling apart.
It's leaking poop. It's leaking poop.
It's not.
Literally.
Unless they fix it till then.
They got a couple years.
They do have a couple years, but I mean, Schneider. I mean, we can make a whole podcast episode about my displeasure of Daniel Schneider, but we'll see if they actually do fix that up. But Zach, your thoughts on potential World Cup bid here?
I mean, obviously, I want the World Cup to be in Philly because logistically, it means I can go to a lot more games than if it's anywhere else.
Zach's got the piggy bank already started.
Dude, absolutely. But like Justin was saying, like it does make a lot of sense, even though, because that was the point I was going to bring up, was like one reason I could definitely see them not giving it to Philly is because of the proximity between Philly and New York and how close it actually is. But like, I can't imagine, like, I don't see Baltimore getting it. I don't, and like you guys said, unless they fix FedEx, I don't see Washington getting it. Now it said there's 16 total cities. So is Mexico and Canada each getting one? Is that how that's working?
I think because of the way that a bunch of cities have started to back out. In Canada, I believe Vancouver backed out.
Really?
It's going to be Toronto. Is it like?
Yeah.
It's going to be Toronto.
BMO Field, I know it's not the max capacity that they were taught that they want, but it's such a good soccer specific stadium.
So what would Montreal use? Oh, is Montreal in it still?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I mean, well, I know they're on this list that I have. I don't know how old this list is, but
I know Chicago backed out, and Chicago had been. I think because I know FIFA is mandating that. I think they pay most of the There's some costs that you got to pay, through the city.
yeah.
And Chicago's not a city right now that can genuinely afford to be kind of wasteful with money. But yeah, there's certain cities that are starting to back out. But it's
I can't imagine Cincy gets one. I can't
oh no,
and even Denver, are they really gonna have games in Denver? I can't imagine. As cool of a place as Denver is, do you want to hinder the team's performance because of the altitude?
They'll probably have it at the Azteca though. Mexico City is going to be one.
That's that's true, but I feel like that's more because they don't have any other options as opposed to they have a choice of this city.
What in Mexico? It's Mexico City, Monterrey, and Guadalajara. I thought.
Yeah, Monterrey would be a cool place.
Monterrey Stadium. That would be a nice
hell
one.
yeah! I want to go there in
awesome.
general.
That would be a nice one.
But Dallas and Houston are probably both going to get one. They probably
both be
both.
one. I don't think they're going to do both.
I don't get Texas having two.
Yeah,
but
Texas doesn't have two. I think. What was it
You think Cali gets? You think Cali gets two?
No,
I don't think so because
do you think
I
Florida
think
gets two?
No, I don't think any state gets two. If Florida, it'll be Miami.
If any of them get two, it'll probably be Cali, because San Fran and LA are decently.
I would
far
say
apart.
LA would make the most sense in terms of because you'd probably play at Bank of America.
No, they'd probably play it. They'd probably play at SoFi. Oh,
that's true.
That stadium.
Grass or turf though? Because I think
it's turf right now, but I'm sure they just put grass in there They could do that, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, in general, Philly, it's just and it is like a hub. For people who are here for the month of the World Cup, you can go visit New York. You can go visit DC if you want. It's in the middle of a bunch of tourist the beach if you want to go to the beach for a day. For people who are traveling here for the tournament from other countries or other parts of the country, it is a hub where you are able to travel to all these different places while still staying centric to where you want to go see games. And I think that it should be here. Maybe England won't want it to be here though, because it's the 250th anniversary of the independence, Justin. They might not be too happy about that. So that might be a reason why they're yeah, we can't do this.
They might get stuck in a groove again.
Dude, imagine. Maybe
it's more reason for them to want it to come home.
Yeah, like a revenge tour.
Oh my god!
But not if the U.S. now have to be in a group with England for that tournament. That has to be a thing.
That would be hilarious. Kyle's bringing some great comments here. She wants to know, where's your USMNT? Is the women's playing tonight?
No, they played last night.
Wow. So
did they beat Paraguay again 7-0?
Oh, I think it was 8-0 or something. Or again, I think it was.
Dude, that's so horrible.
I guess she wants to see her USMNT kit there, man. So,
it's in here somewhere. I don't know.
Sorry, it was 2 nights ago. It was 8-0.
God, dude.
I got my Agudelo upstairs, so whenever we need that,
I still give you.
I need a
Pepe.
I need to get a Pepe
for getting that.
I'm so glad, by the way, that Paul had those Venezia kits, and I was just I'm buying. I don't even care if they don't fit. I just want both of them.
Absolutely, give me that Jack DeVries. But all right, guys, let's move forward because we did have a match this past Sunday after the Eagles game, which made it interesting for getting there on time. But little recap, guys. Look, the Union looked good. Honestly, through 90 minutes, I thought they looked good. They pretty much had the lead for most of it, except for that 55th minute where Ruan got that goal, kind of beat the Kai Wagner. But I won't give Kai Wagner too much slack because on the first goal, he pretty much made that whole play and created that whole play there and got that goal. And then a couple minutes after the Ruan goal, Kasper Shabilko knocks one in from a Jamiro Montero poke assist. And then we got the PK in stoppage time from Kasper Shabilko. he gets a brace in this game. We'll talk about the situation at hand during that PK, but the Union got back on the win. In Mls play, they were winless in 3, I believe it was, and it was good to get back on the winning side. That's always good news. The attack looked a little bit better, but here's what I will say to you guys. Orlando, we talked about in the preview, we're missing some key players. They didn't have their strongest unit out there. They didn't even start Daryl DK. He didn't come out to like the 60-something minute or whatever that was. But I guess take it for what it is. If we're talking mentally wise, the momentum has been built there. But there were some things there that obviously you can't take this win for its full worth, I guess. But 3 points are 3 points, right? So I want to start off here today. I'll start with Zach. Zach, the attack did look a little bit fluid. Obviously, we just mentioned Orlando being weaker, but what did you see that you like that can be sustainable going forward, especially when we have a tough matchup this Saturday?
Having at least one forward who can run at a decent pace up top, I think that is vital to this team. And I mean, Davo, I don't know what's going on. But
hold on to that.
At some point, if Sergio stays healthy, which the biggest if I think in sports is Sergio staying healthy. He and Davo can spell each other and give the Union a semblance of pace in the front three, which they lack always when they don't play one of those two people. Because Casper is super slow, Corey's not very fast, Montero's not super fast, and Gazdag has decent pace, but he's also not crazy fast. And that amazing pace that Sergio and Davo both have really make it tough for defenses because they have to account for us playing in behind. And then once we get the ball to feet to our creative players like Gazdag, like Montero, like Casper, they then have space to dribble at back lines. But if you have all three guys up front slow, back lines aren't going to give you that respect of they can beat us over the top because we can't.
That's a very good point.
So Sergio needs to play or Davo needs to play. Whether they're performing or not, it doesn't matter because there's always that chance that the ball over the top can get there and one of those two will score a goal because of how fast they are.
So to your point, we could possibly see Davo this week. Obviously that's up to Jim, but we got a little knock here today. Corey Burke is out for at least the foreseeable future with a high ankle sprain. So you would think this would be an opportunity for Davo to get put out there. And remember, guys, he's not here for long. It's a 6-month loan, so you would think that. But Corey being out, it'll hurt a little bit. It'll definitely hurt a little bit because he does bring some pace as well. But it was interesting. Justin, I want to ask you, Jim going back-to-back games, the midweek game against Club America, and then obviously Sunday's game, did not start Daniel Gazdag. What did you think about that, man?
I'm not exactly concerned. I think it was going to be a lot to ask Gazdag to come in there midweek, even on start, and propel the team. And I mean, they had some chances, but after the PK miss, it definitely things changed, and it was kind of a different game. So bringing him on was kind of a last-ditch effort. I think at this point in the game when you were up 2-1, I think it was just kind of getting him ready. Probably for a start on Saturday. Again, I think you're still. Remember, he's only been around since late May, so you're really. It's kind of a midseason acquisition, and again, it's one of those. He was coming off of his season, so I think this is a lot of just kind of get him into the team, seeing where he's fit, giving him decent minutes. It's not like he's getting 5 minutes off the bench. He's getting 20, 25 minutes at a time. And even when he does start, he is still getting at least 65, 70 minutes. So I'm not really too concerned about Gazdag coming off the bench. For me, the more concerning thing, and you guys talked about, was Davo. With Corey Burke out, I think that might open the window for him to get at least some more minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice for him to get some minutes, right? I mean, we only saw him what was the New England match, and that was obviously because we had like 7 guys away on World Cup qualification. But yeah, I mean, that would be really nice to see. I mean, with guys like being out, I just thought it was interesting. We know Jim loves Jamiro. I mean, putting him there at the 10. I mean, I just for me, I would want to continue seeing guys that kind of trying to continue building up that chemistry there with the boys. But Zach, obviously, we all like to joke around the rotation or the lack of rotation by the Philadelphia Union and Jim Curtin. But interesting to note that it seems as if Jim's main substitutes have been either Daniel guys like Jameer Montero, a 10 on the bench, and then obviously the other forward, whether it be Sergio Santos or Corey Burke, whoever's not starting. No kids were playing this game. And obviously a game where Orlando was a little bit weaker, and you had 2 matches in 1 week. What do you think so far about the rotation?
Jim doesn't want to do it unless he has to. It's basically how I look at it. Like, unless we are missing 7 guys because of World Cup qualifiers, Jim isn't going to rotate the squad. At least not drastically, like maybe 1 or 2 pieces here and there. And I mean, I get why he doesn't want to. He wants to try and build cohesion. But, like, you see Bedoya play these games, like, when he starts, and at, like, the 60th minute, he's dead. And it's because he played, like, every minute last year. And he's being asked to play, like, every minute this year. And he's old. Like, I've brought this up many times. Like, he's, what is he, 34? Like, for a center mid to play as many minutes as he does in the system that Jim has him playing in, at his age is tough, and I'm concerned that like eventually he's just gonna break down. I don't know if he's like on that Tom Brady diet or whatever, and maybe he'll never break down. But yeah, I think there definitely should be more rotation, and especially in the midfield because we have so many midfield, like so many. Like you got Jack, you got Quinn, you got Flock and Bedoya and El Brujo, and like there's just enough positional pieces where you could rotate one out every game just to keep the legs fresh. And I think that's something that Jim should look at, but we all know he won't.
Yeah, so for me, like my thing is, I do see good teams. This is like worldwide soccer, right? You see the good teams. Obviously, you have to go through different competitions. There's clear rotation. And we have right now, in my opinion, 3 home run players who, for right now, are part of the future. And McGlynn, Aronson, and Quinn Sullivan. And just for me, I just would like to see a little rotation with some of those guys in there. He didn't use his full substitutions this past Sunday. I mean, look, Quinn Sullivan to me has shown the most out of those 3 guys. I mean, he helps in the attack. So we sit here, all of us Union fans every week are questioning Jim's rotation. But for me, it's about these guys are part of the future. Why not get them acclimated now? Right? That's just where I'm at with the kids, man.
Yeah.
So the last bit of tidbit here from this game, obviously in the stoppage time, we had the PK instance. We had Sergio Santos drew the foul, right? And then what we saw was kind of what we saw on Wednesday. We talked about it before when Kasper Shibilko got fouled against Club America. Jamiro Montero kind of shoved him off and said, I'm taking it. And Jamiro did take it. And then we had similar on Sunday. Sergio Santos got the foul. Kasper Shibilko kind of said, I'm taking it. You didn't really know what was going on. At that moment, I was just like, all right, Sergio wants to take it. I don't really want Sergio to take it because I've seen him take PKs before. I don't really like that. Gazdak was on the pitch. I would have rather seen Gazdak take it, but it appears as if from what we saw, Sergio was pleading for El Brujo to take the PK. Obviously, we haven't seen El Brujo take PKs in a game with the Philadelphia Union, but it was just a weird instance where I'm just like, what is honestly, I was just asking, like, what is going on with the team psyche? Because I've seen twice in 1 week guys are bickering. I've seen it before with Kai Wagner bickering with guys. Obviously, we heard the whole rumor of Jamiro, lashing out in the dressing room. I trust Jim as a leader, but do we read more into it? And I'll allow Justin to take this one, man.
No, I'm not reading into this one. It, when the clarification after the game came out that Sergio had wanted Brujo to take it, people were like, oh, well, was it a big deal? And then it was also reported that, Casper and Brujo were, and Sergio were seen like buddy, walking into the locker room. So I really don't think it bothered them, and I don't think it's as big of a deal. And honestly, I don't blame Casper for wanting it. I mean, after he got denied the what should have been his to take, I think he's going, you know what? Yeah, I'd like to take this. And I don't know why Sergio would want El Brujo to take it. I wouldn't be wanting El Brujo to take that. He's not exactly, he might be above Jamiro, but not by much. And that'd be towards the bottom of the list. I think people are trying to make it as more of a deal than it was. I zero concern at this point.
I also think like the fact that Jim has them vote for who's going to take the PKs is kind of ridiculous. Like I don't like that at all.
I did not know this.
Like that's what I've heard is that like Jim has the players decide who will be the PK taker for that specific game, and I think that is very dumb. Like I think you should just have the dude that's best at penalty kicks take the penalty kicks. And from what we've seen, that's Daniel Gazdag. He's 1 for 1. All right. He's on the pitch. Until further notice, he should be the PK taker. Like when I saw Casper step up, I was like, I get you're on a goal, dude. I get you wanted to take the one against Club America, but Gazdag's here on the pitch. He should be taking this. Like in all reality, like he smashed the last one in. Now to Casper's credit, he scored. I still would have given it to Gazdag though, because it's just it's that's such a weird concept to me that you don't have a designated penalty kick taker on a team. Like you think Man U is like, oh yeah, we'll just vote and give it to someone else every game because that'd be fun. No,
they still probably vote for Bruno
or Ronaldo.
Well,
they might have to vote now.
I promise you, Bruno's not taking any more pens for Man U until Ronaldo misses. Ooh. I promise you. But yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous if that is true. But yeah, so Gazdag should take the penalty kick.
There's ways to show trust into your squad. I don't know if that's one.
No, I don't think it should. Yeah,
I never even heard of that, honestly. I mean, Joe Girardi might as well just ask the guys who should start tonight. I guess.
Well, they might know better than him. From what I'm not a baseball fan, but from what I see on the internet, players might know better than Joe. At least who should come out the bullpen.
Right? Yeah, that works too. We'll decide who's going to come out in this inning with a little. We'll do a little rock paper scissors. We'll do rock paper scissors. Guys, so look, 3 points is 3 points. I don't care what it is, and we got ourselves in contention again for a playoff spot. East is tough this year. It's between like 4 through 9 or 4 through 10. I want to say you got a lot of teams in contention. So you take these points, you get this momentum built. You take what you can, and then we'll see what happens. But this upcoming Saturday, guys, we have a tough one. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. We got Atlanta United. Obviously, we know what it has been between the Union and Atlanta United over the past year. There's some bad blood between both sides. There's no secret to it. But guys, so today to preview the match, of course, we like to get you guys the expertise from the other side. So without further ado, we're bringing on today my man Alec, a.k.a. Suspected KGB from TikTok. My man Alec, what's going on, Alec? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
We're blessed here, man. We're trying to figure out what the heck's going on with our soccer club. And we're a little, at least for myself, a little worried facing off against you guys. But We're good. Alec, before we get into this match, I wanted to say it is pretty dope seeing the LA Galaxy using one of your TikToks as a sound. I thought that was absolutely spectacular, man.
Really? This is news to me. I have not heard of that yet.
You did not know that? Yeah. See, the thing is, guys, look, we all have our displeasure with the LA Galaxy, the original DP squad, I guess. But they do show a lot of love to MLSers on TikTok, and I do want to commend them. And they've shown Alec a lot of love as well. They actually used your "Who are you, bro?" the LA Galaxy are relevant sound.
Okay. Yeah.
And they used Chicharito in there as well, so that was pretty cool. So I wanted to commend you, man, because that was pretty cool by the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, thank you. I'll definitely go look for that then. Wow.
Absolutely, man. So Alec, look, we had blast last time. Again, if you guys don't know, Alec talks literally all things soccer from Norway to England. We were just talking about your Man United to his Atlanta United here in the United States. So we're excited to have him back on here. But Alec, wanted to start off here today. It's no secret. Atlanta, since Tata Martino has went to Mexico, right? You guys haven't had a lot of consistency from the manager, right? You had the DeBoer experiment. You had the Heinze. Obviously he had his bickerings with Jim Curtin earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
And now you got Gonzalo Pineda, who is a guy who's experienced the game, experienced MLS. Seems like he's know what he's doing, but it's clicking. So I wanted to start off, like, what is the difference? What do you love about Pineda, and what's been making it work so far?
Yeah, so I don't think you can tell the story of Gonzalo Pineda without actually starting with Rob Valentino, who came in as the interim coach immediately after Heinze was fired. And Valentino's perspective was, look, I know I was an assistant on the old team. I was barely an MLS player. I don't even think he made a professional appearance in the MLS. So he goes, you know what? You guys are more talented than me. I get that. I'm going to let you guys do your thing. These are the qualities that I want in defense. And for the attack, I trust you guys. Like, Barco, I can never attack better than you can. And you are 15 years younger than me. So have at it. And it took a little while for that to click. I think there was still some shaking off the very rigid structure of the Heinze system. And then once it finally clicked, it just led to win after win after win up until the end of the Valentino era. And Pineda really hasn't done too much to mess with that. What he's really done is help solidify that because we were still conceding a few goals despite, I think, having a pretty good defense considering the MLS. So kind of tighten that up defensively, and same thing going forward. I trust my attackers to combine, create, and score goals. So it feels kind of like a continuation of the Valentino system, and it's really paying off. Okay.
So kudos to him for just not fixing something that's not really broken, and something Valentino did spot there. But about the tactics, that's something else that's kind of been lucrative with you guys. It seemed with Tata, you guys had like a fast pace. I mean, obviously with Miggy and Josef, but then DeBoer introduced the 3-back set. So where are we at now in September 2021 with the tactics?
Yeah, so I do want to go back a second because Atlanta United 2018 MLS Cup Run, check the champ's hat right here.
Oh, he's flexing on us now, guys.
Yeah, that was with the back three. So, yeah, Martino was a big fan of the back three, and I think we got most of our best performances with him through that back three. And part of the player-manager struggles during the DeBoer era was actually players wanting to go back to that 3-5-2 kind of system. So we've actually gone back to that, and I think that's been quite helpful for us because I believe we have a lot of good center backs, and with Mls Robinson, arguably the best American center back out there at the moment, criminally underrated on FIFA. His 70 is terrible. Like, if John Brooks, never mind. He should be more than
another debate.
Yeah. But Mls Robinson, Alan Franco, who's unfortunately suspended for this match, but Anton Walks, who is also grown into quite a solid player. And our homegrown George Campbell, who's kind of like a mini Miles coming on up. So it makes sense to have a system where they're all good passers, they're all strong, and it gives our wingbacks an opportunity to go forward and attack more. Because personally, I like George Bello. I think he's better at attacking than he is at defending. And Brooks Lennon, great at putting crosses into the box. He's always been quality at that. So any opportunity to get him further up the field is a good thing for us.
I guess I should say, when do you expect Miles Robinson to make the move to Europe? Honestly, I feel like he should have been gone by now.
It seems like it, but there haven't been any rumors circulating about him, and I don't know if it's because he's a bit older than the MLS player that most European clubs are looking at. He'd easily do a job for a European team, but if they're going to overlook him because of his age, we've got to deal with him for at least another couple of years, so we don't have any pressure to sell.
It's very interesting. That's good news for Atlanta. That's definitely good news for Atlanta. For the rest of us, not so much. Not so much, especially us with the club that's definitely struggling with the attack as well. But let me ask you. So Josef Martinez is another part of this that seems to have been re-energized. You know, there was talks that he possibly could leave. You know, during the when Heinz was still there. You even had Union fans clamoring, "Oh, go get Josef Martinez."
I would have paid myself to bring him over. I would have shelled out some money for that man.
But Alec, he's revived himself kind of. Is it more so Gonzalo, like putting him in a better situation? Gonzalo and his relationship? What is it that Josef looks like 2018 Josef?
Yeah. The whole Heinz and Joseph situation was interesting because there is a definite case to be made that how Heinz treated Joseph is what got him fired like the next day after the match, because you had fans chanting Joseph's name in the 7th minute, and at the end of the game, we lost that game. Heinz decided not even to play him, not even bring him in with the squad because of some team rule that he had violated. Cynics would have said that was like a power play to get Heinz out because he didn't like the tactics. There's arguably a case to be made also that Heinz was doing some pretty bad stuff to the team, really. I don't know if you would have seen these reports, but in the preseason, he basically told the team, "You guys don't get water at all."
I did see
wait, so oh my god, you guys got a Peter Novak. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's
throwing it way back.
that was in fact remember the MLSPA filed a grievance and found that you've literally this is not MLS 2.0 anymore.
Yeah, and there was also along with MLSPA some violations of doing double training sessions, and Tata Martino also was getting investigated for some of those things, but a team will definitely put up with it more when you're with a former Barcelona coach and you're winning, rather than we've drawn our 5th game this season 1-1. So take what you will from that situation. But ever since Heinze has left, I think Valentino really created an environment where he's like, I believe in you guys, go forward. You are so talented. Like, it would be a shame for you to not go and express yourselves. And Pineda, I think also he's carried on with that philosophy, and you can make a whole case that the job of being the Atlanta manager is keep Joseph happy, which is by playing him and giving him players who will feed him.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Alec, I'm going to go out on a limb and saying that, I mean, even 10 years after Josef retires, I don't think there's going to be another Atlanta United player that has the same impact as Josef Martinez. So it would be very intuitive for you to kind of make him happy. I mean,
you would think so, but
it's like kind of common sense there, but it's definitely interesting here. So obviously now I'm looking at our side here. What should the Union really look for in trying to stop that's made Atlanta dangerous in the last 3 games?
So the main thing, and this might be a bit difficult, I don't know how you guys' defense is, but the goals have come from all over the front 4, really. Atlanta United's trying to push the idea of BAM, Barco, Araujo, Martinez, Moreno. I think it's kind of a hokey acronym, but they have all been incredibly lethal recently. I don't know how much you know about Araujo because he came in just a little under a month ago or so.
He's already got a cracking goal.
Yeah. He won the French title this past season. Now, he was a super sub, but in the few games that he's played so far, if you close up to him too close, he's going to nutmeg you. And if you let him have space to run at you, he will zoom right on by. You have no chance.
Okay. How's Sosa been looking? Because he was someone that looked good against us in the Champions League.
So with Heinze leaving, the system has shifted a little bit away from having the center defensive mid drop back and spray the ball out. So now he's playing more in a midfield too, and he's playing a little bit further forward than he maybe has previously. And he's also played more minutes this season than he had previously in his entire professional career. So he's looking a little burnt out at this stage. He's still really good, like very nice distribution. But if you looked at the previous games versus Atlanta and thought, this guy is controlling everything, this is not the case anymore.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. So our defense, the problem has been is the attack is kind of, I feel like, putting the pressure on the defense. So I think it's definitely going to come down to our attack. Zach, we'll start with you, man. We'll look at our side now. I mean, you heard it. The Atlanta United attack has definitely been re-energized for sure. How do you see the Union trying to kind of combat this Atlanta United attack, man?
Well, from what Alex said, I don't know if it's going to be the easiest task in the world because for those of you who don't know, our center backs are not very fast.
That'll be a problem.
They are considerably slower than what the forwards have that we will be coming up against. And especially with how attacking our wing backs like to be, since we don't play with width too. I think it's going to be a very tough challenge for Glesnes and Elliott to contain those four. And I think the way you're going to have to really do it is you're going to kind of have to tell El Brujo and probably one of your box-to-box midfielders to sit. You're not going forward today.
Possibly Ali then.
Because I think you keep Flock back if he's
really
in.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's what you're saying.
Because everyone on Union Twitter loves to tell me that Flock isn't good at attacking, and I'm like, you're right, he's not, because he's a 6. He's not a box to box midfielder. So that's why he's not good at attacking. But anyway, yeah, I think those two are going to have to sit, especially if we still want to create goals from out wide, which seems to be one of our only ways of creating goals. So if you want that to continue to be the case, you're going to have whoever's playing on the right, probably Bizo, and then Wagner on the left to keep going forward. But that leaves our back line very vulnerable, so you're going to have Brujo and probably Leon sit a lot deeper than they're used to sitting when we move forward.
I mean, you could always, just keep the ball and, with possession, keep the ball away from Elena's lethal attack. But, that would require
this team?
That would require you to actually possess the ball and get some nice possessions going.
Jim Curtin's system? Possession? Oh, I think we're on two different pages here. I don't know if that's
it's definitely going to be tough, man. Justin, man, how are you feeling heading into this match here for the Union? I mean, Atlanta, it's no secret they are hot, man.
Yeah, but unlike Zach, I'm a lot more confident in our defense. Glesnes might be a little slower, but
he's playing really nice right now, though.
Jack can make some strides. I mean, he's not lightning fast, but he's got pretty long strides and makes that ground up pretty quick. And he's not probably going to be the one that's going to be chasing down Jurgen Damm on the wings. That's probably going to be Kai or Olivier, who I think can get back.
To be fair, Jürgen Damm is also probably not likely to play.
Yeah, and that makes it 10 times easier because I think with the defense, again, I've never been worried about the Union defense because it's never been the defense's, reason why we haven't won games. It's been the attack. Now, I do kind of agree with Zach. I don't know if necessarily it's a formation change, but I think you might see either Leon or Ali kind of play a little deeper and or stagger who's being more the defensive responsibilities. Or if you want to go really bold, you go you go mostly youth, and you have a midfield of Brujo, Leon, maybe like Quinn Sullivan,
Man,
Give me Quinn.
and Gazdag up top, or do you sacrifice one of your strikers, leave Casper up top, and have more have essentially remnants of a 4-5-1 or a 4-3-3, depending on how you want to kind of line that up. I do think maybe a slight formation tweak, but I think it hasn't been over the last couple of years. I think the Union Atlanta games have gotten more competitive, and it hasn't been like it was in 2017, 2018, where you saw a sizable gap. I think the Union, for all our our intents and purposes, really picked up steam around the end of 2018 and into 2019, and obviously 2020 kind of was hit the peak of what we were trying to achieve. So I think the gap's a lot closer than it was at any point. I mean, you've both won trophies, so it's okay. Yeah, one has an MLS Cup and the US Cup and whatever that Campiones Cup. I don't know if I'm trying to determine if that or the League's Cup or whatever they're trying to shove down our throats is any important. I think it's trying to take away from the US Open Cup, but that's a different diatribe for a
We also have the US Open Cup.
Yeah, that's a different diatribe for a different day. But I think, yes, Atlanta has been playing a lot better lately. And I think, honestly, Atlanta playing better is, people say, oh, when the Galaxy played better, it's better for the league. No, right now, your LAFCs are struggling. Your LA Galaxy are struggling. Even Seattle is really, really struggling right now. Columbus is struggling really hard. Like, a lot of the teams, you're now New England. Okay, New England's finally, I don't know if this is consistent past this year, but New England, your originals are back. Atlanta's starting to get back to now. It was after a rough stretch, and obviously involved, getting rid of Heinze, who I think, let's be honest, I think rode the coattails of his little time at Man U to get that job, because it's not very clear what made him a successful coach. In fact, I don't think he really was. But I think, again, that team has always flowed through Joseph. It was when Miggy was there, and the key when Union have done well has been limiting Joseph's effect on the game. And I think that's the most crucial thing. I've said it for a long time. If you can cut him out of the game, you force the rest of the team to try to work him in. And that's where the more they try to force it in, the more you kind of start to dictate the tempo, because eventually those passes are going to get cut off, and the Union are a counterattacking team. And that's where I think it could pounce, because you saw in the last game against them, counterattacking was huge. I mean, like the counterattack for the Union when it's been successful. I said it in the CCL match, the first half. I said, if they could get that counterattack going, it's there. And I think the Union are best when they can open up space. And now it's been a little tougher lately, and they've been missing some decent chances. But I think, last game, even with a not so full strength Orlando, they showed that the team is there. I think it's been a little, stop-start in terms of momentum. Yeah. But the foundation for what made this team good last year is still there.
God, I would love to see that counterattack work again, man. I mean, honestly, I haven't seen it in a while, and that was kind of the bread and butter earlier on this year. Even last year, teams did kind of figure out a little bit, but that'd be really nice. I'm worried. Just I'm worried about the defense only because it's the attack. The attack hasn't shown us that they can sustain possession or that they can score goals at will. And when Atlanta is clicking, it's a lethal attack. And I'm just worried about the pressure that their attack is going to put on our back line. And I mean, look, Zach likes to clown at Brujo, right? But honestly, he's kind of right about it sometimes because I don't know if a Brujo's head is going to be level headed, right? I don't know if Brujo's going to do a ridiculous slide tackle to get him carded. So it is a little bit of a concern. I love Alejandro Bedoya. I get emotional thinking about the Ali's days in Philadelphia coming to an end. But at this age, he's playing way too much. He's just playing way too much, and that also concerns me as well. But Alec, I wanted to just get your lineup prediction for Saturday. What do you think? How do you think Atlanta's going to line up formation and the players?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, 5-3-2 is pretty much guaranteed. No matter, I guess maybe 5-4-1. I don't know. However you want to classify it that way. Keeper is going to be Guzan, obviously. He was basically not there, I guess, for the Gold Cup time period in which we thought Alec Can was putting in performances that were deserving of a starting spot. And Guzan came back in and made a few big errors, but ever since those first couple games back from the Gold Cup, he has actually been playing at a higher level than I think he has for quite some time, which is good for us because you can find plenty of fans like me, if you remember last time, who were saying, get rid of him. He's way past it. But he's in good form at the moment, so no question about Guzan starting. Left wing back, George Bello. Pretty obvious, I think, choice there. And for center back trio, it's going to be Anton Walks, Miles Robinson, George Campbell. If you don't know George, he's, again, kind of like a mini Miles. He almost even looks like him. Tall, fast, good passing.
Is he a homegrown?
Definitely. Sorry?
Is he a homegrown?
He is a homegrown.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely be seeing more of him in the future. At right wing back, we're going to have Brooks Lennon trying to put in those nice crosses. Midfield, so we got a couple options here, and I'll give you the hopeful one because Joseph should be able to play. There's a small chance that he might miss the game, but if not, got the alternative covered there. So if Joseph plays, you're going to see Santiago Sosa and Marcelino Moreno as your two midfielders. In the Heinzet days, Moreno was a winger, and really he is absolutely wasted on the wings. So putting him central makes him so much more lethal. If you've seen the goal, our third goal from against DC, Moreno picks it up, oddly enough, on the wing and then beats 5 guys to play it directly into Bello right on the goal line. So fantastic stuff. For your wings, you're going to see Ezequiel Barco and Luis Araujo. And I should have emphasized this earlier, but Araujo is the closest thing to Almiron that Atlanta has had since he's left with his pace, directness, dribbling. The main difference is that while Almiron is more likely to pick a pass, Araujo is probably going to go for a goal of the week contender. But,
Seen that.
Andre.
Yeah.
We got Andre. So at least that's, solid. Don't need to give up goals from distance.
Yeah. So probably unlikely.
So the forward, what you said, I'm sorry?
Yeah, so in this system, that would be Joseph Martinez. But in the case, for whatever reason, his injury is serious enough that he can't play. Instead, your midfield two would be Santiago Sosa and Mateus Rossetto. Rossetto kind of came in last year, didn't really make any sort of impact, and has finally come in this year, back into the team, reinvigorated, and looks pretty solid. I don't think he's anything insanely good. He's not like a Darlington Nagby type figure for us, but he does quite a good job at the moment. And then for that front three, if Joseph isn't playing, it's going to be Moreno, Barco, and Araujo, with Barco probably as the false nine, but with so much rotation that your defenders are going to have to be very focused because it's going to be constantly shifting.
So that's the trouble for Bizo then, because Bizo doesn't
man.
like to be focused.
Hey, man, he's looked all right in the last couple of matches, so I can't kill him too much.
Yeah.
Last
just
two.
One last thing on the false nine system, we beat Orlando 3-0 without Joseph using that system. So
Oh, good.
It's also Orlando right now. We were slowly starting to.
the Orlando.
Yes, that's a good way of saying it. Orlando being Orlando.
So that means we got to start Baby Aronson, right? Goose Dan's in town. We got to start Baby Aronson, right?
I mean, hey, someone else has got to make him. Got to keep on the family tradition.
Yeah, I think it's time.
Justin, how about we do this? Justin, give us what you think the lineup will be. Zach, let us know if you disagree or agree.
All right.
In net, it's the Jamaican sensation, Andre Blake. I mean, listen, you can write that in permanent marker. Unless he's injured, it's permanent marker. There ain't no way Dre ain't starting. I mean, the man is a two-time goalie of the year and captain of his national team, and just an all-around nice guy. Let's be honest. Dre's a good guy. Your back line, I really don't think it's gonna change.
Yeah, me either.
It's gonna be Kai, Jack, Jakob, and Bizo. The only change I could maybe see is Alvis in there. That's the only change I could ever see. I think Kai at this point. I think Jim wants to change the left back because, I mean, where on earth is Matt Real? Like, literally, where in the world is Matt Real? Because I don't think I've heard a or hair of him.
What the heck happened, man?
Like, I think this season just I don't know if it's a whole Derek Jones or Austin Trusty situation, man, but it just seems like the opinion soured on him, at least through the coaching staff, very fast. Don't know what, but hey, midfield. I mean, Brujo's going to start. I think Brujo had a pretty good game against Orlando. There's no question there. I want to say there's going to be a rotation, but I think your midfield, your shuttlers, they're going to be Leon and Ali. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any change there. My hopeful lineup is that Gazdag is at the 10. That would be ideal because Chamiro is not a 10. I don't know why Jim forces him as a 10. Gazdag's got the better passing range. He's got he hasn't been able to shoot much because no one's really helping him out, so it's going to be easy to kind of step in front of shot to block it. I think your strikers, obviously Casper, I mean, coming off a 2-goal performance, actually looked pretty good, after a bit of a rough stretch lately. He seems like he's starting to pick it up. And the other striker, I don't know. Because you had Sergio come on and play, 20 minutes or so. I don't know if you want him to start. So I'm going to kind of throw a bit of a wrench in that.
Is he going to say?
If Serge, I honestly, I don't think. I think I play with one forward. I think you try to get Jamiro and Gazdag on the field.
Oh, double tens again.
The double tens.
Oh, God.
Didn't really work that time, but hey, second time's the charm, right?
Oh, God. Don't give me the double tens.
I just think, and Zach, it does kill me to say that lineup, but I think the justification for it is Sergio. I don't think he's going to play more than a half hour, so I don't think he starts. I don't know what on earth is going on with Davo. I mean, one day he's there, one day he's, just not non-existent, so no one knows what's going on. At this point, Casper really is your truly healthy striker. So I think at that point you have to go with the double tens unless you put in one of the kids.
Listen, technically,
Give me Quinn.
You got Quinn, you got Paxson who can play there. I mean, Fontana's done there. We haven't seen Fontana since the New England game as well. I mean,
months.
The question marks. It's just the question marks in general. I mean, Jesus Bueno as well hasn't gotten any minutes, so it's interesting. Zach, do you agree or disagree with any of that?
I really hope we don't play the double tens. I really hope we don't. But I get what Justin's saying. Also, let us not annoy. I tweeted this out. The cycle has once again continued. Casper has scored 2 goals after about like a month and a half without scoring. And now everyone's like, just as everyone was about to give up on him, they're like, oh, maybe he could do it. And you know what? Another month and a half is going to go by. And he's not going to score. And then he'll score 2 again. And again, we'll be like, oh, maybe he can do it. I will not. I'm not on the train. He is not good.
When have you been on the train, Zach? Let's be honest. When have you been on the train?
Yeah, but people, I just need to make it clear that I am not in that group of people who is cool with Casper scoring 2 goals every 2 months. That's not. I'm not
the only train Zach's on is Play the Kids. That's all he's on.
Yeah, for the right, Zach. I don't think anyone is mistaken you for a Casper groupie.
I hope not. I'm not doing my job if they do. But yeah, I think I think Quinn should start up top if Casper. Well,
I would love that. I
think Davo should start up top if Sergio can't go. Just because of the pace. And Quinn gives you some of that, but not to the extent that Davo or Sergio do. So I think that for sure one of them needs to start, like I said in the beginning, because we are slow. And if we're going to counter, which it seems like we're going to have to do, we need someone who's fast up top. Yeah. Because you can't counter with a slow forward. It doesn't work. Like you don't see Olivier Giroud leading the line of a defensive countering team. It doesn't happen.
I'm trying to picture that, and listen. First of all, that's a beautiful image.
He is a gorgeous man. He is a gorgeous man.
I am. He's not a very fast man. So
no, he's slow, and I can't imagine that happens. Like it's not allowed to happen. That we don't play with someone fast in a game where we're gonna have to counter, and I hope Jim knows that.
I think realistically, what we'll see is Sergio starting. And I could see Davo coming out in the second half for like 30-some minutes to give Sergio some rest there. But that's realistically what I could see happening. But look, obviously, I love what you guys are saying because you know why? It's something different. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's something that I would like to see. But all right, let's get to it, guys. We're already at the hour here. So Alec, as always, as the guest, will allow you to. We want to get the prediction, score line, and your thoughts on the match that's going to happen on Saturday.
Yeah. So the result I think is going to be 2-1 for Atlanta. You're going to see Barco continue his form and Araujo finally notch a second goal. It's going to be interesting because this is actually Pineda's first game away from home. So normally we play with about a mid-high block kind of, not ultra high press, but enough that we're going to contain you in your own half if we can help it. I don't know that we maybe resort to that on the road, but we'll still have enough creativity, speed, pace, I think. It might take maybe a counterattack goal or 2 from us, but I think, Barco in particular is one of the league's hottest players at the moment without question, and he's going to make a big impact again.
So pretty much what that means, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to the match on Saturday afternoon, be loud as possible. All right. Justin, you give us your prediction, man.
I've been debating this the whole time about, varying score lines, and, I try to be the sensible one between the ever-loving over optimist that is our good pal Tim, and I'm gonna say realist. I'm gonna do the nicer version of that with Zach. I try to be the balance between the two. I'm not going overly optimistic, but I think the scoreline is gonna be a little wild. It's gonna be a barn burner. There's gonna be a lot of chances. It's gonna be a lot of back and forth. I'm I'm going 2-2.
Justin going 2-2.
I think it's going to be a game of a lot. I mean, I said a lot of chances. I think both goalies are really going to have to at least come up to make a couple big saves. But with the way the Atlanta attack's been going, and I hope the Orlando game could be a bit of a springboard, because every time we talk about how the Union attack doesn't score, they have one of those games where they start peeling off goals, and they don't win, but it's usually a draw. Like in Chicago when it was 3-3, like it was just like, okay, that was a barn burner in a game that you weren't expecting one to be. So I'm hopeful, and it's not so much over optimism. It's just at this point the draw for me is the default until I see a little more consistency from this team.
And of course, as always, when we're talking about the Union 2021, it is important to not concede early. That's the key. Zach, what do you got? What do you see happening on Saturday?
I think that it is going to be 3-2 Atlanta. I think their attack is very potent, and we're going to see that in full force. But at the same time, I think attack, not Casper, is good enough to get to as long as the fluidity of the Orlando game carries over to this one. But that, again, is a big if. So we'll see.
I hear you, man. So it's definitely gonna be tough. This is going to be a hard matchup for the Philadelphia Union as Atlanta comes in hot. Again, 3:30 kickoff here in Chester, Pennsylvania, this upcoming Saturday. Of course, I believe Justin, you'll be there, right?
Yep.
Justin and myself will be. Zach, when are you coming back out, Zach?
I don't know.
Like before the season ends, man.
It'll probably. I think it's gonna happen during the playoffs, because I think we're going to get playoffs. So, okay. I think we're going to get one home game and maybe one more, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, it was Justin and I will be there, so that will definitely give you guys the action from there. Alex, again, man, thank you so much for coming on in, man, giving us the perspective of Atlanta. Where can people find you, my man?
Yeah. So obviously TikTok at suspected KGB.
Hey.
Fortunately or unfortunately, just like the Soviet secret police. Yeah, and Twitter at Lanchester.
Lanchester, I like that, man. I like that. Awesome stuff. Yeah, guys, make sure you give Alec a good follow because he is a good follow. He's always got some good soccer stories for you, and we appreciate for Alec for hopping on in for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for another episode of DOOP by the River. Guys, do not forget, if you're watching this live on PSN or on El Parcero Phillies YouTube channel, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe. And, of course, you can find this episode on PSN Radio. You can find all the Phillies Sports Network podcasts on there as well that you can stream wherever you stream podcasts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Alec Zimmerman. That is Zach Labasso. That is Justin, Mr. Worldwide Body Double Freiberg. Of course, I go by the name of El Parcero Philly, and we're telling you guys to do ball. We'll talk to you guys next week.